Hey guys, welcome back, Heartbreakers. It is your favorite hosts, Elsa Jean and James.
She? Oh, you go
so
by she pronouns now? Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, it's just he, him. I know it's not that interesting, but I am so excited to be here today.
I know.
With no guests.
I know. I was literally just not shit talking, but I was like, I'm excited that there's nobody here only because of the pressure. We were really nervous. I'm not past the nerves yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, also, we had the bitch from all
Our first. I don't know if we're going to cut that.
I want to kind of circle back around to it because she ended up being really informative and nice in the end, but we had our very first guest.
I went and ran and hid in the pantry from her and
we were
almost cried.
Yeah.
Almost cried. I actually told my therapist about how her behavior was.
Therapy on it. We sent her the bill.
It just made me so nervous because remember I was back there. I was like, we got to tell her to go. We got to tell her to go.
No, you said, should we just tell her to go? And I was like, how are we going to sit down and chat to her now? Like, we won't say who the guest was, but just because they might not come out in sequence. No.
Oh,
okay. So let me just tell you. She came in here. She thought that, she's going to know then.
We don't even need to talk about the context. But that's not what we're here for.
It was a lot of yelling. It was a lot of like, who the fuck are these people about us? And we were like, oh,
and it hurt my ego.
Yeah, because Elsa is a huge fan of this lady or man. And no, not because she's androgynous, just because we didn't know her. Okay, we're digging. I know. But anyway, I think it was a good thing because we really bucked up and we're like, fuck it, this is our first guest. We need to make this work.
And I was a super fan.
And you're a super fan.
Yes.
But imagine us sitting there like stunned. You'll probably be able to pick it then by seeing our faces at the very beginning of the episode. We're like,
or my paper like this.
Yeah. Shaking, like scratching herself.
Yeah.
Cutting.
It was, she was very informative.
Yeah.
She was very informative.
And
I liked her advice.
I got a DM from her later saying, when's the app coming out? And towards the end, she was really nice. I just think that, everyone, who knows what anyone goes through on a day. But for us, like the very beginning of our first guest, we were like, can we just get rid of her?
Yeah.
Like, this is horrible.
Well, you know what I said? I was like, we are not, nobody can come in here and talk to us like that. It's not. Yeah. That's not what we represent at all.
How do you
for anybody?
For anybody. And then also, how do you be yourself and get a good conversation out of someone
if you've already...
But you know what? Some people are like that. So my ex-husband used to talk like this and talk like that and like get everything was like, oh my God, why doesn't this thing do? But that's just his normal speech. But I was like, my nerves are so frazzled just being in that energy that then I'm shutting down and
I can't do it either.
But he's like, what? This is just normal Jewish
I'm just
guy
talking
from New York talking.
No way.
Yeah. So that was...
It's just difference of, I think, culture. I really do think East Coast people talk harshly. She was from the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh, right.
They talk harshly. They come in harsh. I'm not used to that. Yeah. I'm from the Midwest and people are very nice there. They're very, very nice there.
I'm just from everybody should at least act casual and also...
So you're fake.
A people person. Well,
is that what you're...
Okay, a little, but because I want people to like me, I need to be able to show you whatever it is that will disarm you. I go out of my way to make people feel comfortable. So when someone doesn't do that for me, I get so pissed. But it's only because I'm a little bit resentful of the way that I act around people to try and make them comfortable.
Yeah.
Which is a selfish move at the end of the day anyway, because I'm trying to get them to be like, this person is so great. And I get to go, oh, I feel great. Look, everyone loves me, because I don't do that for myself.
Well, I just actually heard this thing about, would you rather somebody be kind or genuine? Would you rather somebody just be kind, whether they mean it or not? Or would you rather them be genuine?
Sure.
And I think I'd rather be genuine. I'd rather somebody come in rudely, or I'd rather somebody tell me off, only because the person who's kind, even if they don't want to be, is the resent, for sure.
I think that's such a good thing. Okay, so being genuine, definitely.
It's hard though, because
who cares about kind people if
it's
they're
more
disingenuous?
confrontation that I'm scared of, where I just rather not be genuine. You know what I mean? Because I don't want confrontation.
Well, then at least you know where you stand with someone rather than secretly finding out later that
they hate you.
Yeah. Can we say cunt on here? It's our own show, yes.
We can?
Yeah.
Okay, say it one more time then.
Cunt. Okay, it's a real Australian thing to say cunt. Like, everyone else is like, whoa,
Why
that
not
was
twat?
so, like, yeah, it's really harsh, but we like, hey, cunty. Like, it's a term
That's
of
a super
endearment
bad
as
word
well.
here.
Yeah, I know. I can tell when I would say it when I first got here. And people were like, whoa, where did that come from? Why? I'm like, no, that's sweet.
You just like, oh, it's sweet. It's a nice thing to
hey,
say.
cunty.
Okay.
People say, hey, cunty. So how have you been this week? Otherwise,
Really good.
Good.
Yeah. No, I've been good.
Tell me the peak and the pit. Let's get a little deeper. Okay, so like the peak was the best thing that happened this week.
The best thing that happened is I almost bought a fourth dog, and I actually
That's not a good thing.
I actually thought James is going to kill me if I get this fourth dog.
But,
beautiful dog. There's a
why?
new...
How did this come up? That it was
I
all of a sudden a dog
love
presented to you?
dogs. I love them.
I love dogs too, but I don't need to adopt every single dog that I see.
I know. I have a lot of love to give, and it was a little boy, and there's a new shade of
is it one of those
Frenchies?
expensive dogs that you...
Yeah, it was. It was a new shade of one. It's called like a tri-colored Isabel. I mean, I could show you a photo and you'd be like, get that dog. But I didn't get it because I genuinely thought James is going to kill me if he has to try to find another...
would even listen to me.
Well, I was like, if he has to try to find another dog sitter for me, because I have problems with that.
How are people going to take on 4 dogs?
It's a lot, and they're bad.
Yeah, and they're bad.
They're really
They're
bad.
like you.
Well, the pugs aren't bad.
Oh, the pugs are so sweet. Anyway, no one knows who the fuck we're talking about. They're just dogs. The people don't care about your dogs. It's like people showing people pictures of their babies.
Yeah, I know.
Talking about
I can't stand
little
that.
Eddie. It's like, I don't give a fuck who... I get that you love little Eddie, but I'm just not ever going to be able to... I can't stand that. Yeah, I can't understand that.
What was your highlight?
No, I want the worst part first.
Worst?
Deflecting.
Okay. Oh, you know what?
Not getting the dog, I guess.
Not getting the dog, but I genuinely have been trying to just relax and like not do anything. And like I don't have any bad, like I don't have anything bad to say. I've been really staying away from bad things, so I don't have anything.
Okay, that's good. That's
what
progress.
About you? You have a lot of bad things going on. I want to hear the worst first.
Okay, the worst first. The worst is that after our terrible guest. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
After our first... No, we had a great guest after that. And also, they're all great, actually. Let me just clarify. I don't want to be, like, slagging anyone. I would happily have them both again. I was all excited. I decided to drink and party a little bit last week at the end of our last taping. And I'm not used to it anymore. For good reason, though, is that the worst part is that God, for the last week, I've just had so much less energy. Like, I'm more unsure of myself. Like, I am allergic to alcohol. Like, really? I am allergic. I am also just like, I don't have the...
What happens?
I get anxiety, a lot of anxiety. I'm exhausted. I'm second-guessing myself. Do you know what it is? It lowers my vibration. It's like I'm a really sensitive little being.
Do you think that it really tanks your serotonin levels?
Yes.
And you know what you need to take? There's actually a vitamin that you can get if you're going to drink and stuff. Just start loading up on it right after.
Is it
H something?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what that is. What's it called?
It's like a bunch of
tryptophan or
oh really?
Oh no,
it's like HD whatever.
HPT.
Yeah, something.
TTP.
Yeah, it really is something like that. First, or just serotonin level boosters.
You know what? Oh, I keep putting my armpits out like this.
I can smell it. I'm just kidding.
I'll make you smell it. Okay, so what was I just saying?
Oh, sorry. It makes you're allergic to alcohol.
Okay, so I actually think that under normal circumstances, I would be medicated for like ADD.
Yeah, sure.
How many D's did I say? Sure. Anyway, ADD or like as well, like maybe a bit of depression or something like that. So I think that I go through life pretty well without anything, but unless I add some sort of chemical to it, like drinking or a little bit of drugs even, like it will make me... It brings up everything that I usually have at a pretty... Because I think that I don't want to take... And no offense to anyone, a lot of people need medication and I probably do too, but I like what it gives me in like the obsessive mind that I have being ADD
really
or whatever. I'm able to complete tasks.
Yes.
And I obsess over things to the point where they become brilliant because I'm like so interested in that thing and I'm like obsessing over it and it keeps me up at night. But then what comes out of that is that like I do good work but then I'm also tortured 24/7, and I'm like, in my head.
That's real OCD.
Yeah.
I actually am like diagnosed with true OCD.
I saw your tweet the other day about cleaning, and then
I really genuinely have like diagnosed OCD. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm OCD." I genuinely do, but what comes along with it are intrusive thoughts. It sounds like after, because you're saying it lowers your self-esteem, is something with OCD is actually intrusive thoughts.
Well,
so you could.
I'm obsessing over not feeling perfect.
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem too, because I'm giving myself, it's making it even worse for myself because I'm obsessing over, now I don't feel like I did 2 weeks ago or a week ago before I drank.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that fucking bad, but I'm making it worse by thinking I'm not on my A game and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of ego too, because I just like to like feel smart and feel
you
beautiful
should
and perfect.
feel like that because you are smart and you do get a lot of stuff done.
You. Well, it's nice to hear other people say, but it just doesn't really help me.
Oh, I know. I know. But it's almost a little bit good that you also don't feel that about yourself, because then you can keep reaching new goals. People who are just, they feel so, they don't want to reach any higher because they feel like they're.
Well, you know what it's done to my dating though? I was almost ready to start dating again. And now I'm like, oh, fuck that. I'm like reaching for bad food. I'm already doubting myself. Like, I'm just not ready yet.
What
I need to give myself.
About dating?
Well, because I'm like, oh, how am I going to do over my next billionaire if I can't like keep my story straight? I'm just kidding. No, I'm
really?
like, no. Oh. But like, how am I going to be the best version of myself for somebody to love if then I'm seeing the cracks appear again and I'm like, oh, I'm obviously still not ready. And if I do find someone, it's going to be to try and prop me up, i.e. a rich guy or someone that I think is so fabulous and unattainable. And that is going to make me insane and put me back in a bad place. Whereas I need to stand on my own 2 feet and feel really... Oh, anyway, I'm so sick of hearing myself talk about it.
You don't need to feel like that.
Aren't
you doing my dry eraser thing on the mirror every morning?
Oh,
that
right.
Shit works.
What do you do again?
I do. Well, you could do whatever. I do like.
You're right. I've got a killer body, great legs.
I do start with positive things about myself, and then I put 1 or 2. I'm not going to put the equal amount of positive things because that's not the point, but I'll put what I want to work on for the day or for the week or whatever, or I can rewrite the same thing, but I put on one side positive things and then the other side, and I leave it and I do it every morning. It really does help. It sounds like cheesy.
So what she does is she puts lipstick on the mirror, right?
A dry eraser.
Is it weird that I'm talking to the camera, or is it weird all of a sudden? Ryan, our producer, he's so great. We love him so much.
I know.
I know. How did we luck out?
They made us look so good. We weren't good before. They really believed in us.
Yeah. Oh, it's so weird. We are so weird. Okay, so anyway.
Wait, what was you didn't say your highlight.
The highlight was
Moo Moo.
Moo. That's my little dog. So she went from Esmeralda to Esmu to then Mukisha, her stage name, and now just Moo.
Eden Moo.
Eden Moo. That's the street. Oh, it's a street. I was about to give away Elsa's address.
Oh, she lives at with the number 2.
You don't even need to Google it anymore. I'm just going to give it to you. So the best part, I actually think was. The best part was also the worst part. So, like, when last week, because it's still just been 1 week, it was, having our amazing team put together this, like, just seeing everyone come to life and be like, this was the right decision to make. Mm-hmm. And then also Brandy Glanville. I fucking love Brandy Glanville. She was so fun. Her. She was like having a new sister. Like, I loved her. And
now you're one of her gays because you said you wanted to be.
Yeah, because like it's hard to find chicks that can hang like you that aren't just like dumb bitches that want boys that are like fucking just like so basic.
Isn't that
like
so
honestly,
awkward?
Yeah, bitches
I hate going out with my friends and all they do when they go out is to get guys, and I'm like, why can't we please just sit here and just like not try to get guys?
Yes.
It's exhausting.
Yes, exactly. Like you need to have some other experiences. And I get like, that's really fun as well. And like chatting about boys and all of that.
Chatting about boys is fine. But I have friends where they're like this the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time we're out. And I'm like.
Come on.
It's exhausting.
maybe we should get into some of these bitches' questions. By the way,
or I was
send us your voicemails. We've been loving it.
Should we do the voicemails or what should we start with?
Okay, so there
Questions.
was this one voicemail
I'm scared.
that came through that was a guy, one of you guys decided to masturbate into the hotline, which I'm not going to say I didn't find kind of a turn on, but maybe you could turn like the mic up or like give us a little bit more than just like...
Yeah, it did sound like a gerbil drinking water, so it could have been that.
Okay, I want to hear this again. I have been playing it on a repeat, and I actually went and had it digitally mastered and took it to a sound studio so I could really get the spatial audio version so I could feel like I was in the room with you. Because I'm a sicko. Oh yeah, Elsa, do the masturbating again. That's Elsa pretending to masturbate. Oh.
As a guy, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's not very big.
Oh, is that not big? I feel like I was actually giving myself a big dick, honestly.
Yours would be little, I feel like.
No, hell no. Mine would be big.
It would be ridiculous. But then if I would laugh at it.
But if I had a small dick, would I have small balls too? Or big balls, small dick?
You'd be all balls. I'd be like, oh God, bitch. You wear a bathing suit and be like, look how big it looks.
Am I uncut or cut? I say cut. Give me cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you just got like a bit of foreskin. They didn't like do a proper job. They left halfway through.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Got it off for you right now. Is that wrong? Should I not do that or do you? Is it okay? Oh, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. Is that okay? Oh.
What is he saying?
Do you hear the gerbil sound? Do you hear that sound?
I hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's way cuter to think of than whatever that was. You know what? What is that, though? Like, what is he saying?
Honestly, I can't make it out, but all I could hear was I'm gonna come.
I got that for sure. Could you send us another one, but enunciate your words?
Please, no, please don't do it, please.
I liked it.
Please do it and say this is for you, James. Please,
this is for me. Yeah, exactly. Just pretend I'm Elsa.
Should we ask the question or do the questions?
Yeah, that was one question. We loved
was it?
Okay, do you want to do the first one?
I'm thinking about Jake has a question, and if I'm thinking about getting into the porn industry, what kind of advice would you give me? You know, that's all of the questions in my DMs are usually, how do I get into the porn industry?
Well, you're like a big deal. It's like asking Jennifer Lawrence how to get an agent.
So personally, it's always guys asking, and I genuinely don't have advice for male performers. It is so different for them. I really only have advice for female performers, which is get a really good agent, and I actually recommend my agent, which is ATMLA. I wouldn't recommend any other agent. He's been very protective of me, and the agent will help keep you safe and guide you and just keep you on track and give you everything that you need to start off. But for guys, it's tougher for them. They get paid less.
One? Like, would you suggest going an OnlyFans route and trying again?
I would suggest actually making a Pornhub account and getting, because it's easier to grab
first?
Yes, make a Pornhub account, put up your content on there, and actually grow a fan base there, because it's way harder to grow a fan base just from OnlyFans. That's why girls struggle.
You can't just search it. It's like a paid thing.
Everybody's on Pornhub already. That's how girls make their fan base in the industry too, is the scenes getting stolen and put up on Pornhub. That's all our fan base is. So if you just go to them directly and upload your own stuff, I actually think that's the best.
I really like that too, and I've not heard that before. Okay, so now I understand why there's so much stuff on Pornhub as well, because I'm like, why the fuck are they letting this out here if they're trying to charge for it inside? But it's because it's
stolen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good thing, though. Like, any good press is good press, because then people are finding out who you are, then it creates more demand.
It really doesn't... They, in the industry, like to convince you that it affects you if there is stuff up on free, but up for free, I still get paid the same. Everybody still gets paid the same. Somehow the industry could still... I mean, isn't it $1 billion company or $1 billion industry or billions or something? It's
Sex
crazy.
Is the oldest industry.
But I don't have advice for guys. Sorry. I would say get an agent too.
Or just film yourself and put it on somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I ain't giving advice to dudes that want to get into porn. I would not know what to do. Let us know how you go, though. Okay, so the next question is from Nadine. How the fuck do I deal with my husband's inappropriate father? I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm pretty good looking. Every time we go to family gatherings, my husband's dad is always making it a little weird with his comments about me and about what our sex life might be like. And he does this in front of his wife, my husband's mum. I need it to stop, but my husband seems terrified to stand up to his dad.
That is so ridiculous. I've had friends do that, but never somebody's dad.
I would be mad at my husband, even if it looks like he's terrified. Like, I feel like for you to be I mean, that's just so weird all
How
around.
is he not mad at his dad for that? Like, wouldn't that make you angry at your parent?
So, but you know what? Weird relationship dynamics between, like, parents and their kids.
And fear.
Like, he could have beat his kid when he was little or whatever.
Not. That's pretty extreme.
I know, I just went straight there. No, but I'm like, why is he feeling... Well, it's probably so fucking awkward and weird that the kid's just like... I mean, we are kids at the end of the day, just shutting down, being like, why is my dad saying sexual things about sex life with... It's really inappropriate, and it's
really inappropriate.
Bad to feel bad about it.
I think that she needs to actually stand her ground with her husband and say, I am your wife and you need to stand by me and this is not appropriate and won't ever be appropriate and you need to tell him to stop. And if you can't get him to stop, then I can't be around him. Because that's really scary, actually.
Yes.
Somebody's parent talking about sexual things.
Yeah, about like their sex life together. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
I feel like...
Has anybody ever done that to you?
Someone's family? I think I would have remembered if somebody's family made me feel that way, because that's such a weird thing.
I'm trying to think if anybody's family has made me feel like that. And for some reason, I'm surprised I can't think of a time just because of my history, but definitely friends.
I feel like she should say to the husband, I know this probably makes you feel very uncomfortable, but imagine how uncomfortable it makes me feel to be in front of you while this is happening. Now, it's a double whammy for him, because if he's not able to stand up to his father, one, it makes him look weak in front of his partner, but then also he's kind of having to deal with what's actually happening, which is that this is being said to his wife, but this is a moment where he needs to stand up. And you need to make him and hold him accountable to that.
I think he needs to do it through a phone call if he's a little bit nervous.
But like what you said, if he doesn't do it, she can't be around him.
No way.
Like that just means you have to cut off the family or deal with it. I mean, I would want to just cut it off anyway.
That would make me like want to get a divorce.
You can't put it back in the box. It's already out there. I would need to leave.
How awkward. How do you recover from that? Even just like confronting that.
Just cut them off forever and pretend they died.
I like this question because this is actually... I think people don't want to talk about this. A girl I hooked up with gave me an STD. I'm freaking out. How do I confront her about it since I didn't have sex for a long time before her and it couldn't be anyone else? That's hard.
Yeah.
You have to. Well, first off, does he mean confronting her by telling her that she also has the STD? Or
interesting. No, but she said gave me an STD and I'm freaking out because he's saying he hasn't had sex with anyone else.
Yeah, so he knows for sure it was her.
So I would be pissed though. I would be like, I haven't had sex with anyone for a long time. Oh, but he just hooked up with her, so it's not her responsibility. But you got to let her know you have an STD.
She might not know. So I would actually just say, hey, I know 100% I caught this from you. I'm not sure that you're aware. If you were aware, I really don't, like you've invaded my... it's such an invasion. It's such for somebody, that's the reason why I left the industry. It's such an invasion to your health for someone to infect you with an STD. It's crazy because you're intimate with the person and you receive something that's negative from
I've only ever
intimacy.
Had crabs.
Crabs, really?
Didn't I tell you this last time?
No way. Okay, that's such a dated thing.
And it's so weird. There's crabs. Like, they actually look like crabs. Like, they're horrible.
How do you know how you got it?
Yes. Okay, so the first time I ever went to hook up with someone when I moved to LA on a dating app, because someone had said to me, like, go and have some adult fun for once. I still don't. Like, I don't have Grindr. I don't have any of the apps. I just don't do it. But
no, you really
I wanted to. Yeah, well, I never did since then. That's a lie. But yeah. So I actually was like, oh, there's this guy on there. He's really cute. He's a dolphin trainer from the real world. randomly. Yes, JD Ordinez. Anyway, so then, well, he gave me crabs. Again, he now gets to be on the podcast.
And you can't tell me he didn't know that he didn't have crabs, because if you could visibly see them.
I didn't even know what they were. So like, I called my manager at the time. I was like, should I do it? He's like, go and have some adult fun for once, you fucking freak. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I went and did it, had sex with the guy, and then I even called him when I left and was like, I did it. Look how cool I am. And then I realized that I was kind of itchy all of a sudden, but I didn't know what it was. I was just like, I cannot stop itching. And then I looked down and there was something that literally the only reason why it came to mind, like I wouldn't have even known. I'm like, that looks like a tiny little crab. I know, disgusting.
And there was only one?
No, there was a lot.
What?
So then I was like, first of all, I was like, this is kind of fun to itch. No, but... But then I was like, I gotta let them go. So I went down to the CVS and found, you just have to shave yourself and then use a shampoo and then it's gone. Thank God, because I didn't want to tell anyone. So all you have to do is go in the aisles and be like,
did you tell him that he gave you crabs?
No, I never spoke to him again. Although I did see him, he was bar backing at one of the bars in West Hollywood for a while. And I was just like telling every single other person other than him.
That's such a dated, like I've...
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard of
crabs. I hope they're okay.
Where
are crabs
of somebody
these days?
getting crabs.
Oh God.
That's so. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Well, yeah. So that's what. Yes, that's why I haven't really had an STD before or an STI. Oh, I've had an STI.
So you would suggest not even saying anything?
Not unless I wanted to sleep with them again. But that was actually, I was really young. That's probably a dick move because you should probably tell them so then they can get ahead of it for like the millions of other people that they're about to sleep with, because they obviously do sleep with a lot of people if they got crabs.
Yeah.
I can't believe that happened to me on my first go. So mean.
That is so mean. Yeah. I mean, I got an STD from one time hooking up with somebody and then I gave it to my boyfriend.
Well, did he deserve it?
No, he was a really nice guy. He never did anything wrong. Aww. And I texted him and told him that, and he was like, man, I didn't think I really believed you when you said you weren't with anybody else. And I was like, fuck. Sad. And then I just left it. And then years later, he actually reached out to me. He was like, I genuinely like respect you for telling me, because I realized how hard that probably was and how embarrassing it was for you to come to me. And I was like, I mean, I did cheat,
but
thanks
sounds like such a keeper.
Yeah, he totally was.
Do you know him now?
No.
Aww.
No, we just know he would never work.
Sweetie.
Really nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to the voicemails.
Hey, Elsa, big fan, huge. Hey, we want to know, how much money did you make before you got into the business per year? And how much you made during the first year of your glorious career. We want to know. Thanks, Elsa.
So
I like him. He's such a fan.
Yeah, and those were actually really good questions because people usually ask me what my favorite position is, or like So I before I got into the adult industry, I was a stripper, and then I had crazy sugar daddies. Like they would give me.
So they would give me
so much. They would give me so much. So I think.
So you got a taste of that OnlyFans life before it was even a thing.
Yeah. No, I was like a hardcore sugar baby. Like when I first got into the... Where did you list
yourself as a sugar baby? Like how do you find them?
So I actually was on Seeking Arrangements. And then there was sugardaddyforme.com that was before Seeking Arrangements. So sugardaddyforme.com is actually
how old
before
is the cutoff for being on these Seeking Arrangements?
Like what age? From 18 to...
how old is too old?
Oh, I never had an age limit, but I had my OG sugar daddy that I don't speak to anymore. I mean, he has probably given me millions. I'm not joking. Yes, has carried my life from 18 until January 7th of last year. I know the exact date.
January 7th of just last year?
Of just last year. Paid for my whole entire life. That penthouse I had in New York that was in Central Park was him. $10,000 a month.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No way.
So my first...
I didn't even know this about you.
My first, before porn...
Why did it have to stop?
I cut it off just because I want to carry myself.
Okay. And did you have to do much with him?
No, I loved him. I was genuine. He was the love of my life. That's why I cut it off. I was so in love with him. I was like, I can't. It doesn't matter how much money you give me anymore.
Oh.
So
Why can't he be with you?
Because he's married.
Oh, wow.
And he's horrible.
He's horrible.
Yeah.
And that's why you love him so much.
Yeah.
Twisted.
I don't love him anymore. I don't love him
but I
anymore.
can't believe he
really
gave you millions of dollars.
For sure. From now to that, like, but my before porn was probably hundreds or 200,000 maybe, and then my first year I shot.
You made 200,000
before
in porn. Oh, before porn. Yeah.
And then my first year in porn, I was strictly only doing porn, so I would say probably the same, because I was getting paid $1,000 to $1,500 a scene. I shot a good 150 my first year, and then
first year you shot 150.
I might have
scenes.
shot 200 scenes. I shot almost every day.
So every single day.
At the time, I was on the most box covers, which is like the DVD covers.
So the moment they saw you, they were just like, "This is the girl that we're going to put in every single scene, every single day for every single company."
I looked very young, yeah. But I made probably...
How long was your career?
7 years.
Okay, but you already had done 200 scenes in the first year.
For sure.
How many scenes altogether, do you think?
I think someone counted, I think, 800.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. I know. I know.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's huge. I mean, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. It is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
But in 7 years...
Because I was thinking it's shit money. It really is shit money. But when you're doing that many...
It isn't. Like, if you do well, then there's people that don't do well.
I know, but you're still getting $1,500 for an entire 12-day thing where you've got to recite all the lines and get all the
that's
dick.
True. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot easier in some ways, for sure.
And what about the when you're a stripper, did that earn a lot of cash tips, or was it kind of meh?
It was kind of not that good. I would make a few hundred a night.
So that fucking sucks worse than anything, the stripping.
But I stripped every day. But I did strip like 10-hour shifts.
Let's just say that you were a hard fucking worker, by the way.
Thanks.
Like, to be stripping every single day and bringing home a couple $100. To be doing 200 scenes in a year.
I think
you're
I like to work.
Working. I wish you would bring some of that work ethic.
I know, right? No, you know what? I'm so like at this point in my life, I've worked. People can't understand. I stripped till 3:00 in the morning. And I went to school at 6 a.m.
To school for what?
For surgical assisting. You didn't know that in Virginia?
I mustn't listen very often, or like...
Yeah. Oh. And I was exhausted.
Oh my God.
I can't do it anymore.
So
I want to not work.
You're a fucking hard worker.
I don't
and you always
work
have
anymore.
been. Yes.
This is work though, but it's not. So I think people view me as not a hard worker, but it's just because I've created a life where I'm enjoying it. So it doesn't...
no wonder you have such a well-rounded personality too, and that you can speak to a lot of different topics because you've been to school, you've been in marriages, you've been... Anyway, you don't need me to float up to the sky. I do that every day and I'm fucking sick of it. I am over floating up Elsa Jean.
I know that you're my biggest like...
a cheerleader.
Yes.
I feel like I am the queen of the shit right now.
So you've recently done a lot of cover shoots for magazines and you're featured on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. I know we've talked about this before, but what was your experience in a nutshell shooting for an iconic magazine like that and also using your real name, Sapphire? How important?
Well, you were there. And I remember I said, this is the greatest day of my life. And I meant it. It really was. Also because the crew that we had was so like inviting and they were so kind to me the whole time. Like I really genuinely felt like the only thing was, remember we shot it in the wintertime for summertime. And I actually thought in the car today, I was like, freezing. If anybody wants to do it, I'm going to suggest them shooting a winter cover because I realized it's the opposite, right? But remember how cold it was? I was so happy that day. Yeah. I was so happy.
And you looked like a fucking goddess. And
the next day we did 2 days in a row, remember?
It was so good. And you turned it out like better than anyone would have ever imagined, which was the thing. They just thought you're some influencer bitch, remember? And then one of them came over to me and was like, I don't know what we were expecting from this, but this was not it.
Yeah.
Like this is someone that actually gives us Kendall Jenner vibes. And I was so proud.
And we did use my real name, but that's something that both you and I talked about. So I felt comfortable doing that because remember we were like, what should we do? Because it was difficult getting it with my stage name. It was impossible, actually. It would never have happened. So I was okay with my real name being used, one, because...
Well, you're growing up too. It's like a new chapter for
Exactly.
you. It's like kind of... And, you know, there's a stage name, then there's the real you.
And people already know my real name.
Oh,
so
yeah. It's no secret.
I kind of felt... I was kind of proud to use my real name and, like, bring that out and, like, build something with my real name.
Well, I think it's good that you actually are using your real name for your new creative endeavor at Crystal. You're the contributing editor. I just read your article on
which one?
Microdosing mushrooms. How was that experience, microdosing mushrooms?
I love mushrooms. I will take one mushroom a day. I always will for the rest of my life. And if I want it on the weekends, I take probably 2 to 4. Just depending on what I've eaten, because it like
it can upset your stomach.
No, no, it's more like if I've eaten a lot, it won't.
Mushrooms.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's bad for my stomach. I mean, it's good.
You
for
might have a lot
else.
of food allergies.
Do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Like my stomach lining is a little bit shot. From
you could just be like sensitive to a lot of things.
I am sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway,
Anywho,
I have been loving reading those articles, and I'm very excited to.
Are you gonna microdose?
No, because I can't anymore. Because I like to go to these special meetings that don't allow you to be on anything.
It helps.
I know it does. It's like honestly, it's like taking a Xanax, or it's like
taking a I tell people it's taking a caffeine pill, but you don't have the anxiety of caffeine.
Everything. I know.
I feel like the lights look better and the colors are brighter.
I need to do a sober year, though, before I can start dabbling with other things. Because I need to know how it feels. I need to know how it feels to be an entire year. Like, who will I be? Will I even be James? After a year? Like, of a totally different, like...
Will you be somebody else? Will you completely change?
Well, hopefully for the better, though.
Yeah.
You know, been many years of hiding behind...
Let's see. Let's compare.
My back is sweaty and my ass crack.
Oof.
I know. Swas. Yeah, swas.
But ever since I got my new implants, I really am irritated by the boob sweat, which I'd never had before, even with my last. It gets underneath and in between, but it shows through your clothes. So it's like a weird, like, if you really are sweating, it will look like you're lactating.
Well, you are as well.
No, I don't lactate anymore.
You don't? When did your lactation start?
After I did the egg freezing thing, it completely like fucked my hormones. I'm so pissed.
Because you liked lactating.
I know.
So what is your secret tip to getting a man to stay with you? I feel like we should probably, or do you not?
I don't want to expose it yet because I don't want people using it, and I don't want the guys that I want in life to know that that's my trick to manipulate.
Well, you basically just gave it away, but we will leave it for another episode.
And they're just going to do bleep, 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 just to...
There is a trick. It has to do with what we were just talking about. We will save it for another episode. My final question to this bitch is, on Holly Randall's podcast, in a lot of other spaces, you've started to be more outspoken about advocating for mental health and wellness. What are some things you tell listeners who may be struggling with their mental health and where and how they can get help?
Honestly, ZocDoc. You can book therapists. Literally download the app, and because I know a lot of people. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna say therapy is the only way to really be on your mental health, especially at this point in people's lives after COVID and everything. Even when things are good, I feel like people need to do therapy and be in therapy,
it's like
even if it's once a month, every 2 weeks, or once a week. But a lot of times it's hard for people to make that next step to even just call a therapist and make an appointment. So ZocDoc, you can actually book online. Well, each therapist is different. No, ZocDoc's free. And you can put your insurance up on there. It makes it really easy. You just book a therapist. There's tons of reviews. There's tons of therapists on there. I mean, it's ZocDoc.
I'm going to get that. You know what?
And you could do every doctor's appointment on there.
Like what you were saying, I think that therapy is something that everybody should do. It's just so unaffordable for most people.
It is,
like,
but a lot of
me, I'm like, I'd rather buy some fun clothes. And
me too.
But the thing is, like, it should be like going to the gym. Everybody should just have it inbuilt, like a check-in with yourself.
I think it should
through someone else. It's like having a personal trainer. They're telling you do your arms and this is how you'll do it. It's like, pulling thoughts out and ironing them out. And are you okay?
It's an investment. I want people to see it as an investment. The amount of clothes that my therapist is $500 a session. My insurance doesn't cover it. And I know it's a lot, but the amount of money I was spending on clothes and doing things to make myself happy was triple the amount that I spend in therapy.
That's the thing. We second guess buying something that's going to be very fleeting.
I'll pick up a $500 pair of pants or t-shirt.
Not even think about it. But then when it comes to something that could actually improve our life forever, it's like,
it's got to make that step.
It's a little expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I always love when it gets to be just you and I hanging out, hopefully we'll warm up with guests. I love having that component, but it's nice to just check back in with ourselves, have a moment. So yeah, thanks for hanging out again. I wish I wasn't wearing shorts.
Yeah, it looks like you got a thong on.
Oh, my bum is hungry, so it's munching on my undies.
You always say the most disgusting thing.
Oh, so we have
our hotline. Yes, guys, we want your questions, even your stories. Anything you want us to know or you need advice on, please call our hotline. It is in our notes, right? Our
show notes has it all in there. We will post on socials at Heartbreakers Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Get in there. There's a Q&A panel actually on our Spotify for you to ask questions also. Yes. Or you can email contact@strawhutmedia.com. Heartbreakers@strawhutmedia.com. I'm sure we'll do that over again. But we loved hanging with you. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.